City AM debate. I hope that you will find it an extremely illuminating and stimulating exchange of ideas. Please welcome the candidates for this evening's debate. The Conservative MP for Richmond, Zach Goldsmith, and the Labour candidate and MP for Tooting, Sadiq Khan.
I'll be a mayor for all Londoners, giving all those who live and work in our city the chances to succeed that I had.
My action plan for Greater London will deliver more homes, better transport, safer streets, a cleaner living environment, and I will do it without putting a penny on council tax.
My question, and I'll come to you first, Zach Goldsmith, is should Britain vote to leave the European Union? And if it does, how would London benefit or suffer?
It is not the job of the next mayor to take us out of Europe or to keep us in Europe. The job of the next mayor is to make work.
The economic benefits of us being a member of the European Union are huge. Why take a risk with jobs? Why take a risk with growth?
By choosing to stay in, we're not choosing the status quo. We're choosing to be on the edge of something over which we will have even less control.
How you would use the powers and indeed the office of the mayor to protect and to grow London's economy?
I want Londoners to have the skills to get the jobs that we're creating in London.
So if people are priced out of their own city, if they can't afford to live in the place in which they work, then London will cease to be the most important city in the world. You don't get those homes without growing the transport network.
What about Crossrail 2? What about river crossings in the east of London? What about extending the DLR, extending the tram, having a generation of new buses where the windows open? A mayor needs not simply experience, but also the vision to make sure the city can meet the needs of London in 2016, but also in 2046.
You can't get a good deal from government if you're not willing even to talk to government.
I'm not saying we should get a bigger slice of the UK cake. My point is this: give us more say over how our city is run, and the cake grows much, much bigger.
What a lot of people might conclude is that on this point about who's going to be the best for London's economy and for the business environment, it might come down to character and it might come down to experience.
In the course of the last 5 years, I've worked day in, day out for my constituents. I've delivered for them. I've secured funding for key projects in the area.
If you think that being a good backbench MP is enough to be the mayor of the greatest city in the world, there are many, 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 many other good backbench MPs who could qualify for this job, but who's got the experience?
My pledge is to build 50,000 homes a year. The second step is to grow the transport network.
I'm not going to promise to next year increase the number of homes being built from 23,000 last year to 50,000 next year, as Zach is promising to do. What I will do, though, is make sure the homes that are built are genuinely affordable. The last year for which records are available, the Office for National Statistics said the largest number of Londoners aged between 30 and 39 left London.
The requirement upon us to redevelop existing 1950s and 1960s estates. There are 3,500, some of them small, some of them large, across Greater London, many of them coming to the end of their life. We don't need to go down the Greenbelt route, and I've ruled that out in my manifesto.
If we had overground trains, DLR extensions, Crossrail 2, the potential for building more homes is huge. There is no need to go anywhere near the Greenbelt. I'm the only candidate with the experience of being a transport minister, making tough decisions, and I will keep my promise of which I've made, which is you will pay not a penny more in 2020 to what you pay now, and it will have no impact on investment going forward. Words that the TfL Commissioner Mike Brown agrees with.
There is not a transport expert in London, including transport experts in the Labour Party, who believe you can take £1.9 billion out of the TfL budget and continue to grow the network.
What do you think the single most pressing issue is for London's small business owners, and what are you going to do about it?
And I will ensure that all new major developments, commercial developments, include office space.
That we're talking about interfering with the market. Yeah, I am, because actually the market's not working. Survival of the fittest is leading to small businesses struggling, music venues closing down, which is why the London plan needs to protect the heritage and protect small businesses as well.
I fear that education is one issue which is not being dealt with properly in the manifestos. Could you suggest how you would deal with the small funding that will be lost as predicted by the TUC in different boroughs in London?
If we have control over our skill funding, we'll be able to ensure that young people are prepared for the jobs that actually exist.
One of the things that I want to do is actually get more and more young people looking at the STEM subjects.
How do you suggest real policies with regards to anti-gang youth engagement policies?
We need to ensure that police have the resources and the tools they need to keep us safe. That's about police numbers. I've committed to keeping numbers at 32,000 minimum. But most importantly of all, we need to invest in steering kids away from crime.
Prevention is far, far, far better than dealing with the causes. And I'll come to that in a second. And that's why we've got to invest in youth services.
Since this is a job interview, what is your greatest leadership quality, and what quality do you most admire in your opponent?
The quality I admire most in Zach is he's charming. He's personable, and I've always found him good company. Some people think the job of the mayor is to cut a ribbon, walk the red carpet, and make a few jokes. I can do that, by the way. But I think it's about having the experience, the values, and the vision to understand the challenges we face, but also the potential.
I would point to my record and show that I made a lot of promises to my constituents before they became my constituents in 2010, and that I kept those promises. Sadiq has a quality which is admirable, and that is that he is very tough. He's a grit. I was very a bit stuck there. He's a gritty campaigner, a gritty, which is a useful thing as well in politics.
What sort of policy will you guys be suggesting to stop tube strikes from happening?
There have been 35 days lost due to strikes in the last 8 years, and there were 16 days of strike lost in the 8 years before, so they've more than doubled in the last 8 years. And there's a very good reason for that. It's because the Mayor of London has refused to meet those who represent our tube workers. You've got to sit down and talk to those who work for you to make sure you come to an amicable resolution to the differences you might have.
It is correct to say that there have been more strikes under Boris than there were under Ken. The principal reason for that is that Ken agreed to everything the unions demanded. And Boris took a line where strikes happen. They can only happen with a genuine threshold of democratic support among members. My action plan will deliver more homes to close the gap between demand and supply, to help Londoners earning average incomes to get the keys to their first home. Better transport, not just to keep London moving, but to enable London to continue growing. Safer streets, that means giving the police the tools and the resources, and even more importantly, the backing they need to keep us safe. And I will make London the greenest and cleanest city in the world.
With the government in chaos, London needs a mayor with the right experience. A mayor with a positive vision for a city in which opportunity is restored. The potential of our entrepreneurs and innovators unleashed, and the sky the limit of our optimism. I will be that mayor, a mayor for all Londoners. Thank you very much.